And then it's episode 227, so we'll say that off the jump.
Yeah.
Mary. Hey, community, happy Pride. And here's what's brewing today.
Renaissance in Paris.
Them niggas in Paris.
And Apple's Vision Pro. So get your cups ready for Minority Report.
Hey, welcome to Minority Report. It's Auntie Carell.
Auntie Dewan.
And it's Auntie Jarrell. Bitch is back.
I know that y'all don't travel the world, and I was just sitting in the U.S. like, I wish I was seeing Beyonce.
You can blame the husband on that one because you got your invite.
Yep, absolutely. Right. And had a ticket.
Obstacles.
Obstacles.
That's what that is. But welcome back. Good to see your face, boo.
Yes, it's so good to be back. Honestly, yes. That vacation was just life-changing, and a bitch is like, talk about like rejuvenated, like charged, and just life just looks different. It's just so crazy. I'm just beyond blessed, beyond grateful.
That French charm done got that spell on you.
Honestly, honestly, it's not even that. I was talking to my grandma while I was in Paris. And because you know how niggas be when we go somewhere that people ain't be, you FaceTime. We from the Eiffel. I sure did FaceTime both my mama and my grandma from the top of the Eiffel Tower, being like, "Look where we at, y'all!" Like, totally did it. But I was talking to my grandma, and I was just kind of telling her that, like, and I said this on the podcast I think once too. I just never really envisioned it being a reality of something that I would actually do, right? And we were kind of talking a little bit off camera or before the podcast just about being intentional, how life can really life. And things like all of a sudden time just goes by and some of the things that you wanted to do, you just never made the time to do because there's so much other things happen in life that kind of take priority, right? And precedence of some of those dreams and et cetera. So it's crazy that at the age of 35, I finally had the opportunity to just be intentional, to take that time to do something that I've always wanted to do. And being from Gary and being from the family and circumstances that I grew up in, it's not something that is a norm where I'm from. It's not a norm in my family. You know, some people do have the opportunity here and there to possibly go and see some things, but it's not something that a lot of people growing up was like, oh, bitch, go see the world. Oh, you want to go see the Great Wall of China, go see the Seven Wonders and stuff like that. Like, that's just, our dream was get out of Gary. Like, that was as far as the dream often got. And if you made it out of Gary, bravo, that was it. Yeah. You made it. Yeah. Put your feet up and make it to 80 or whatever, eat your vitamins, your vegetables, etc. You don't need to worry about nothing else. Yeah. So the fact being that I got to extend past, just that kind of goal in life is just really just amazing. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's interesting you say that because like clearly I have a different background right now. I'm in my parents' house right now in Michigan. And so I'm down in the basement, and so like on their bookshelf over here, they kind of have just like all our old like certificates and pictures, sports pictures and things like that. And like I pulled a couple out just because it's just like it's Pride Month, and we talk about it all the time, just like what our younger selves would say. And I'm like looking at myself, like, so here's like one of my track pictures.
Just bitch! She was doing the hurdles, bitch.
Doing the most.
Leaned up.
But like, just looking at this person, just knowing what he was going through in his head, and just to see where I'm at now, and then to do the podcast in my parents' house in the basement, like super like crazy, super meta. And it's just like making the intentionality to live how you need to live, to make your heart sing is such a true statement. So I love hearing that, boo. Aww.
Yeah, no, I think honestly a big factor into it too is also making sure that I surround myself with people who either have a same type of passion or ambition to some of the goals or dreams that I also want to complete, right? Like if you surround yourself with people who ain't going nowhere, you ain't gonna go nowhere, right? And so having you two in my corner and other people in my corner who go see the world and they go places, they do things, I find myself being like, I can do this too. Why not me? And so I think that's also a key thing for anyone listening is, if you have a dream, make sure that you're also surrounding yourself with people who are going to feed into that dream the possibility of making a reality, and not someone who's just going to encourage you to keep it a dream.
That's a word.
I ain't got nothing to say.
You gonna say something? Oh, I was about to say. Yeah.
You have something to say too,
honey. This is like my heart is so full for you, because I remember, 2 years ago having some conversations about like what life could be, and it's wild because you can tell somebody what your experience is, and you can tell them, like, give them advice on what they can do to kind of reach those dreams, but you have to bet on yourself, and you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that is a very, very hard thing. And as much as you can tell somebody about, like, for example, your European trip, right? You didn't heard probably a gazillion people talking about their trips to here and trips to there and trips to here and trips to there, but it don't ring the same until you set foot on the soil.
Until you get that baguette in your mouth.
It's different. It's just different. It
really is.
So, to hear you talk about how this has changed and, number one, invigorated you and has changed and evolved the way you think and what you chase and go after, my heart is just full for you, because that means that your future has you've now taken a fork in the road, and the future that is ahead of you is going to be nothing like the past that's behind you.
Yeah, I thank you for that. And honestly, like, I see it. I see that I have, like, just like in the last couple of years of just like the career change, and then, getting into tech, and now like being more open to seeing the world and, going places and stuff like that and actually making it happen. You absolutely right. Like, a bitch ain't going back. I refuse. Like, I done too much to go back.
The only going back you're going to is if you feel like going back to Paris, bitch.
Okay, that part.
So in Community, if you're just now catching up and missed like maybe the last few episodes, Dewan and Jarrell and Amber and Marco Tony, like the damn whole world was over in Europe.
And Daedra from Trivia for Us.
Period. Yep. Everybody was over there. I was so jealous and bitter. I was like, if I see one more motherfucker over there right now with my ass in Philly, I swear.
Yo, everybody and their mama was in Paris for Beyonce Renaissance, though. Everybody and their mama. Like, the fact being that I like looked over to my right and I saw Megan Thee Stallion and Jay-Z and Vivica A. Fox just literally right there.
How did Megan look in person?
Yeah, she looked good.
I bet she did.
She looked good.
Ooh.
I literally was just looking at her and I was like,
it's like, you pretty.
That's body, bitch.
Like,
the category is body, and she served, she ate.
Ooh. I know. Like, I saw the Instagrams of her over there. I was like, damn, Megan. I say it all the time. That's if I was a woman, that's the body I want. I would, if I didn't have it naturally, I'm buying it.
But to be fair, though, I have to. I agree, but people, just remember, celebrities have funds and time to look like that. Okay, the rest of us regular bitches who got a 9-to-5 job.
Honey.
Okay,
got that 9-to-5 body
on the way home because
got that 9-to-5 body.
Girl, okay, that 9-to-5 body.
And we ain't talking about Dolly Parton.
Look, okay. Look, for real.
That's a word.
For real.
This is my 9-to-5 body.
Girl.
The Ludacris 9-to-5.
I'm gonna add that to the list.
Yeah. That 9 to 5, because a bitch like me has to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the gym before work, because it ain't happening by the time I get off work. No,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm
man.
tired. Them people didn't suck the soul out of me. I have to figure out how to go back the next day.
It's true.
No.
But yeah, so they was all over there. And I'm debating how much I want to hear about the Beyonce experience. But before we even get there, Dewan and I always like told you, like, when you get to Paris is one of the few cities that literally lives up to maybe what you dream it to be. Is that true or no for you?
A little bit of yes and no.
Okay.
Like a little bit of yes and no. Like, it was beautiful in the sense of like, just like how the houses looked and like the French balconies and just like the views and seeing like the Eiffel Tower and stuff like that. Yeah. But I guess the part that I dreamt, which is like a little bit more of the fashion of it, just seeing people walk on the street and stuff like that. And people wasn't serving. They were just like in just some baggy clothes.
They was in their 9 to
like
5 clothes.
not even 9 to 5 clothes, because I couldn't tell who was going to work and who wasn't going to work. Like, I mean, like in the morning, like you could see some people like on like the little mopeds and stuff like that in suits, scooting to work and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's what I expected.
Yeah.
But there were very few people who were dressed like that going to work.
Got it.
If that makes sense. And a lot of the style remind me of like 90s look too. So a lot of things, like a lot of the clothes were like baggy and like,
It's
look like they were
back
waiting
in.
on
It's
it's
all the
back
way
in. I'm like,
yeah.
the Great Flood. Everyone's waiting for it again. Like, I'm like, if I see white socks like again, I'm gonna lose my mind. It's crazy. And then also the smoking. That was the other thing that I just was not ready for, girl.
That
like
is true.
Everywhere.
No matter where you are, just light up.
Yeah.
I swear we were having drinks at a cafe, and this man probably smoked a whole pack in the hour that we were sitting there. I was like, did you get any oxygen? Like, at this point, it's been nothing but nicotine. Girl, it was wild. But I say the South of France is that bitch, though.
Oh, I haven't
Paris,
been. And I saw them pictures. I was like, girl.
Honey, Paris was cute, but the South of France is that bitch.
Okay.
That was, I was like, damn. Eyebrows blown back. I'm just sitting here like mouth open, eyes open, just wild. Like, and you, first of all, y'all know how Black people be when it comes to swimming in any type of body of water. Okay. And any body of water that's especially not your bathtub or pool. Okay. You look, Black folks need to be able to see what they in. This is the first time I've been in a body of water like this, the Mediterranean Sea. I was up to my chin in the water, and I could look down and see my feet touching the sand.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was so clear. I was like, I have never in my life been in something like that. Yeah. But then, of course, being Black, then I was like, oh, bitch, what if I see something?
What you gonna do, right?
So I was like, I had to go back, and I was like, all right, to the waist only, bitch. You'll sit in the sand to make it go up, but you gotta be able to run out that bitch. But South of France is gorgeous, and there was less smoking down there too, which is another thing that I enjoyed as well. Okay. So,
and then Dewan, before we get to Beyonce, how was Amsterdam and Paris from your perspective and your angle of this trip?
I love Amsterdam. So this was my second time visiting, and the whole purpose of us even being over there was because this was my sister and her boyfriend's first time traveling to Europe altogether. So it was less of an experience for me in Amsterdam, because I was playing like guide for that particular part of the trip. But she absolutely loved it. She fell in love with Amsterdam. Like, she loved the whole vibe. My sister's not like a crowds kind of person. And so she just loved how like laid back and easy it was. And it was just a dope time. And I absolutely loved the fact that we were able to make it work, where we had that family time in Amsterdam. Then we came over to Paris, and bitch, from the first minute that we set foot down to the time that we left, we were drinking and having fun. And I'm telling you, it was everything. It really was.
There was a whole lot of niggas in Paris. Damn.
It really was. That
It
was
was
the
really
thing.
black.
That was the thing.
everywhere.
It was really black. Yeah. We went out to Lareed. That was the one I think you were talking about, Carell, with the dancers in the shower.
Oh yeah.
And so we go there the night before Beyonce, and Fizz and I were there the weekend before, and it was still kind of packed, but the night before Beyonce, there was literally nothing but niggas in the club. And I was like, where all these black people come from? Y'all weren't here last weekend. And then they got to talking. I was like, Americans, bitch. We up in here. Bitch hoes are from Atlanta, DC, Baltimore, Chicago. I was like, niggas are really in Paris.
Yes.
It was everything. It was funny because it was like, all of a sudden we all became like cousins. Like we were all just dancing in the club, being like, are you ready for the Mara girl? What song are you looking for? And we were like getting everyone to go to the same after party afterwards as well too. And we all ended up connecting. It was I probably met like 14, 15 different people that I added on Instagram.
Yeah.
And we were texting and shit like that and would meet up with again. It was dope.
Were the dancers at the bar?
Man.
Oh, they were oh damn.
There, man. I mean, like good bodies, but one of them was dancing. I was like, oh no, that's stiff as a board, bitch. I was like, what? I was like, you must hear one song. I was like, you not dancing to the same song I'm hearing. Like,
right.
We hear two different things.
I'm hearing.
Girl, okay. I was sitting there, and of course the girls got their phone out, like, ooh, and I'm like, y'all don't know nothing, because y'all ain't
not even where my iCloud service.
I said, baby, if I had somebody, I would get up there and wipe them bitches off the floor, bitch. It's a no for me. No.
No for me. Damn.
No.
All right. Now to the matter at hand. Queen Bee. And I'm still debating, do I just take these headphones off?
I don't think we have to.
I want to hear it. So
I don't think we have to talk about like the set or anything, but I think we could certainly share a little bit more about the experience, right? Because I mean, the reality of it is that, you know, if you've been anywhere on the planet, you didn't seen like a gazillion videos already, and you can probably piece in your mind already just from like the stills of what was going on, let alone, you know, the actual videos and what you're going to get yourself into.
Yeah. Well, but even before we get to that, we got our own superstar over here, because Miss Penny was in all the Parkwood videos.
Yes.
And that outfit 8.
Look, let me tell y'all, when it came to that outfit, y'all, I honestly didn't have no idea. And it's funny, Carell, because you have been asking the question, what you wear into the rent for months.
Yes.
For months now. And honestly, I was like, I don't know. But I was like, I'm just going to keep shopping around. And then I found, and I think the one I sent it to you, the 2-piece, like the suit part. But I was like, I don't know what I would wear underneath it. Because the options that I found, I was like, I'm not really feeling that. Then I saw that fucking like fishnet leotard, and I was like, bitch, that's it. That's what's going underneath. That's what's going underneath. And I was like, boom, got that. And then I saw the face mask, and I was like, oh, bitch. Yes. Definitely got to get that. And I didn't put any of the pieces together. I just bought them individually. I didn't even try the outfit on before I even left. I just said, I'm wearing this either way it goes. And at this point, there's no going back, and I didn't want to rack my brain trying to find the perfect outfit. So I just said, this is what I'm envisioning. I hope these pieces go together. We'll just throw it on when we get there. And baby, let me tell you, walking from like the Moulin Rouge area, because that's where my friend Matt Haynes was staying. Hey, boo. Okay. We got to the stadium early because they were doing like for Club Renaissance VIP, you get there from 2 to 4. And let me tell you, at 2:30 in the afternoon, at 2:30 in the afternoon on a Friday.
That thought, because we were supposed to meet up. We were supposed to meet up the day of. And she said, "Oh, I heard that they're going to allow us to get in there at 2:00. So sorry, we're not meeting."
She said, "I'll see you later.
In the United States."
I say, look, I'm not trying to fight the kids in the club. I got the spirit. I'm ready, but I don't want to if I don't have to.
See, that's growth. That's growth.
So I literally said, you know what? It's Beyonce. If I'm gonna do this for anybody, I have to do it for Beyonce. I didn't come this close just not to. So at 2:30 afternoon to see me and my whole outfit and my bestie Matt in his pink outfit, mesh leotard and hat, walking around Paris on the metro in the middle of the day by ourselves. We ain't met nobody else for Renaissance yet. We just the only one. People like, who are these two bitches?
That's the fast food division in Paris.
That's what I was expecting in Paris. Okay,
but this is also the difference between Paris and New York, because you could have been doing the exact same thing in New York and would nobody give a damn. Nobody give a damn. But
look,
outside of New York, it's a whole different story,
honey. But once we got to that final train that actually got us to the stadium, that's when you can hear all the girls going to Club Renaissance or going to the concert. Because as we were getting on the train, all you hear is, yes, bitch, come on now. Come on, Renaissance. As we like scooting our heels, going to the train. And we're like, we're going to the right spot. We done found our people. Absolutely.
Here for
but
it.
I was in them hills for 8 motherfucking hours.
I don't know how you did that.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, it was the first and the last time. It was the first and the last. Okay, I'm lying. It's not the last time. But I learned from the first time.
There we go.
I learned from the first time. Bitch, my feet were hurting so bad at the end of it. I couldn't even feel them. So at that point, they weren't hurting because I couldn't feel my feet. So bitch was just like, she found her stride. She didn't found her stride. She was like, walk. I'm ready.
That's when you gotta keep them kitten heels in the pocketbook.
See, this is shout out to Babe, because Fizz bought my boots to the concert and his seat. So once it was over, boop, kicked them bitches off.
Period.
Kicked them off. But the concert itself, though, was amazing. Honestly, the mic was on. She performed fantastic. I will say, as a Beyonce fan, it's not the same as Formation.
No.
Okay. But I will say you still have this level of technical excellence that you just know no other bitch on this planet is serving.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that wasn't something that was just thrown together and just placed on a tour. No, that shit has been thought out for a while. I'm talking about every detail was talked about, discussed, and etc. Like it was just clean as fuck. You just sit there and you're like,
it's like this bitch.
What's higher than a professional? Because this is.
You know, we talked about before you left, like, the cost of the tickets, and although they weren't in Paris, they weren't at nearly as expensive as they are here in the States. You see exactly where that money went. This is not one of those situations where it's like, oh, you're paying these exorbitant amount of prices and you getting up there and it's just Beyonce on the stage singing like Adele. Like, no, this is production. No, that's not a shade and that's not a read at all. It's just, you see where that money is going. I'm telling you, the visual display and the production value and the concepts, they were like next level, like truly next level. Like I remember there was a point and I'm just like, okay, I had taken an edible right before it started. So I'm like, I want to be on the moon. I want to be on the moon, by the time this thing gets started. And I remember this looking at the visuals and I'm just like, wait a minute. Is this the Matrix? Wait, is this the bitch? Is the fucking Matrix,
girl?
But it all made sense, and like the visual display that you like, the way that things were woven in, like the amount of there was like this futuristic slash what are they called? They're not like witches, but they're like spiritual goddesses or whatever that civilizations worship and whatnot. There was like this combination of technology and spirituality that was woven through the entire concept, the entire concert experience. That although she's singing her songs and performing and dancing, there's this visual display that's going on that's like, this is next level. Like when Jarrell says that she thought of every single thing, it's not just like the performance and the outfits and the musicality and like what you see on the stage. It is the entire mood in the entire space. Like it completely transcends you out of like, I'm at a concert to you're having literally like a spiritual experience and you getting your freak on. Like it's wild.
Ooh.
It was honestly, it was everything. And Carell, you're gonna love those remixes, bitch.
I know I am.
Bitch,
I know I am.
I literally told Jawan, I was like, the remixes that she does and when she's doing her costume changes, I could just, those alone was just everything. Okay. And then there was some songs that she performed where she had a remix of something else in there too. Like, I was like, damn, I never thought to put this song with Blow. I was like, and it was just enough of a remix to be like, yes. And then she took it away. You're like, oh, fuck, bitch, I wrote this. This is so good. It was, she played with you. She really, like she thought about how you were going to feel.
Yeah.
Everything. When you hear all that shit.
Question for you. So like we asked before you guys went over there, the song that you were most looking forward to hear. Did it give you the life you needed, or did something else be like, no, bitch, actually it was this, and this took me all the way out?
America Has a Problem was dope. I mean, it was good. It was good. But bitch, we got Blue Ivy to move out the way. Bitch, I was like, come on now. And that was it. And then she did the remix with My Power and brought it in. Like, this is my bloodline. And all of a sudden, Blue Ivy came out. We were like, bitch, that's your bloodline, bitch. Like, that's my kinfolk. That's my skinfolk. You are absolutely fucking right.
Damn.
Bitch. Damn. That part just hit me to the moon. Everybody was in there screaming.
To have 80 to 100,000 people in a stadium screaming and cheering you on, like when Blue Ivy came out, first of all, it broke the internet because that's all anybody was talking about for like 3 days. We were there.
I still talk about that shit. I'm like, damn, Blue.
And then to have so many people, like, cause she's what, 11, 12 years old?
11 years old.
11 years old. So, you know, to have someone who's 11 years old who, you know, their mother is not going to put them, like, this is not her mother's dream for her kid because she'd been through that life, you know. So, but Blue has been giving us all the inklings. You've even seen her at all these award shows and whatnot, trying to break out some moves, and the mother's like, keep that to yourself. Like, but she let her out there, and like to have 80 to 100,000 people cheering her on, like first of all, she's 11. You could tell that she was nervous, but she hit every single move like she owned it. This was definitely recital mode, but it's recital purposefully because bitch, she 11. But to hear the amount of energy and support from the crowd, up to 100,000 people that were just giving her all kind of support, all kind of support.
Everybody was.
Heart. You know, like the Grinch who stole Christmas who had a heart that was that big and grew like 10 times. That's how it felt. Like your heart just got so full because you're proud for her and proud for her mama and proud for her mama being proud of her. It was next level. It was next level.
It's so the dream of ancestors coming to fruition. We have not seen, for the Black community, somewhat on the level of a Beyonce to let the next generation soak it up and still see that this is attainable and tangible on this level. Like, you ain't going below this level now. Like, go above what I'm doing right now. And like, we ain't never seen nothing like that.
I wonder if Blue Ivy brings her Grammy to show and tell. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You know,
when everybody
popcorn
else,
on it. She's like,
you know what I mean? Right. You know what I mean? Like, she already has a business under her name. She already has writing credits under her name. She already has a Grammy under her name. She's already now performed in front of hundreds of thousands of individuals, if not millions, by the time this tour is going to be over. Right. And she only 11.
and she a black child, so you know she ain't gonna get too out of hand. We ain't gonna let that
Look.
happen. She ain't gonna be like a Drew Barrymore or something out here just wilding, you know, or like
Right.
a Paris Hilton and shit, you know.
Yeah,
like,
we're gonna
listen,
like,
go ahead.
No.
Listen,
where your
little
mama
girl.
at? Where your mama at?
Listen, little girl.
Who child is this?
I don't care who you dance for.
Right. As a community, we will collectively make sure we will protect
Honey.
her at all costs. Everybody,
Yeah.
her auntie at this
Right.
point.
Mhm.
But
yeah.
but as far as like the song that I was expecting, honestly, like America Has a Problem delivered, but each section had a whole different kind of energy to it. It's hard to like because there were 6 different acts, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
And each one just has its own energy.
Bang. Yeah.
Its own energy. So when you go between each ones, you're like, I don't got no. What's next? Like you're just tired. You're
Yeah.
like, you were just on a high on the other 3 songs. I'm like, I'm glad you're giving me this visual break, but this visual break is scalping me too. So I'm not really getting a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I'm gonna say honestly, every single song was a brand spanking new experience. So it was hard to even be like, oh, I can't wait to hear I can't wait to hear X song, because like every single song was a new song, but it was the same lyrics. So
Yeah.
you got like the whole experience was just like, I keep saying it. It was just next level. Like I can't even pinpoint a specific song that was performed that I was just like, okay, that was the song of the night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Were you glad that you changed your seats to where you changed them to, Dewan?
Oh, bitch. I got a picture from where my sister and her boyfriend and Fiznik were sitting. I would have been so heated. So heated. I would have been like, man, fuck this concert. I'm going home. I would have been
so low vibrational.
Oh my god.
But here's the truth of it though. Like because it was so good, like you want it, like get as close as possible.
Yeah,
you want to be in it. Like I'm grateful that we were in Club Renaissance because it was a whole experience. I'm so glad that I got that close. But I told Dewan the next night when we had dinner, I was like, she might be a seat girl now. Like I might need me a seated ticket going forward because
nope.
I waited 5 hours before the concert even started.
It was the shoes.
It's definitely the shoes.
That's what it is. Like
I want to say it was just the shoes, but it was just the sitting around on the ground for 5 hours holding on to my area so I could be that close to Beyonce.
And you know that leotard was all up in the booty too. So just scraping and everything.
Girl, that and the thong was just right up in there, bitch. Right up in there, hoe.
5
That's
hours.
why I had me an edible too, so that way she couldn't feel it that much.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that the red bag that I had too, bitch, that was my lunch bag because I had me 2 sandwiches in there. I had me a granola bar in there as well. I had me. I sure did, bitch. Girl, I had me 2 sandwiches. Girl, look. I really did. Let me tell you. Because I was determined. I said, I'm going to get a spot by this damn fence and I'm not moving.
I know that.
So to make sure, I need to make sure I have me some food because we left at 2.
Yeah.
So
man.
The concert wasn't over till 11:30.
Yeah. 3 hours.
And I'm not missing no meals. So.
And Beyonce said, I'm my own damn opening that bitch.
Girl.
How about that?
And
Yeah.
rightfully so.
Honey,
Yeah, girl.
award.
It was
Missed
funny though because
nothing.
we were. She had to shut us down when we were singing "Love on Top." She's like, "All right, y'all, enough, y'all keep going."
We went 3
I'm
stanzas,
gonna hit every key change.
3 whole stanzas of Love on
I'm
Girl.
just
Top.
saying. I'm
Girl.
just saying. Like people always say, "Oh well, Beyonce doesn't have all the number ones as like a Rihanna or a Taylor, and her records aren't as big, and after Single Lady, she's not maybe as mainstream." Go to a concert of Beyonce's, and everybody knows she's on a different level. Nobody else is doing this on this planet. So
Mm-mm.
fuck all the billboards, fuck all of that, because your favorite's favorite is that's their
Beyonce.
favorite.
Well, this
Okay.
is how you. This is really how
Okay.
you know that Beyonce's on a different level because that kind of stuff doesn't even matter. Like the accolades
Period.
don't even matter. This woman, because of her creativity and the fandom that she has, is slated to have the highest grossing concert tour of all time. Of all time. And
Point blank,
people are coming away feeling like just like this. Like it was a transformative, like incredible, like you got no matter how much money you paid or didn't pay, you got your money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You really did.
And
1000%.
and at 3
she don't gotta
hours,
go
she
to
didn't even
mainstream,
barely.
whatever that means.
And at 3 hours, she barely
Like,
touched like her catalog. Like if you think about
That's
like
so
there
true.
were
She
so many
barely
songs,
touched it.
so many songs that she didn't even touch on at all.
that's the
Girl,
one thing I haven't done so far. Like at this point, I've seen a decent amount. I still haven't seen like a full video, but you just
Mhm.
scroll and there's something popping up.
Right.
But I don't know the full set list still, and I don't
Mhm.
want to know the full set list.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
so
out there. They
I've been able
posted
to
it week
dodge
1.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
know some of obviously the main stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've only maybe seen 7 songs.
Girl,
So I'm glad on that piece.
I mean, honestly, it's to Dewan's point, she barely did anything from Formation, from Beyonce. Like, there are
Yeah.
still so many songs that we
Oh my
all
God.
know and love from her
Mhm.
She's
that
like,
she
"Fuck that
didn't
shit."
even
Didn't even touch. Didn't even get near it.
I'm here for
She
it.
said,
I'm
"Skirt,
here
skirt."
for it. So we're gonna see
Can I
what she
just
does if she up before
can I
the
just give a
Americans.
shout out? Let
Like,
me just let me just give a quick shout out to Fizz because he was my buddy while this one was out there gallivanting around Paris in her high heels and thongs. And we sat down in Monsieur Georges and drank fucking champagne and ate macaroons for the entire afternoon and got drunk on fucking sparkling champagne and
and
just
sugar.
and sugar.
I could eat every macaroon in that fucking city.
We took a
I didn't
macaroon
have
making class.
I didn't have a single one while I was there. But let me tell you, bitch, I had is it called like a beignet, right? Is that how you say it? A
Beignet.
beignet?
Mm-hmm.
Bitch,
Yeah.
Oh
I will fuck for some beignets. I will fuck somebody for some beignets. I will. I looked at Fizz and I was like, baby, I love you. But if
But
anyone
this,
was like, I'll pay you, and then
You know they make them in New Orleans,
honey,
right?
girl, and I ain't
you
been
need
to
to
New
go to Orleans. They
Orleans,
good there.
so
Yeah, they
and
good there too.
I ain't been. When I tell you, it was like soft and just ugh,
And the powdered
child.
sugar.
Nobody
Yes,
makes
child.
pastries like the French make pastries.
It's
Nobody.
true.
honey,
It's
honey.
true.
The amount of pastries that we had, we didn't go overboard because I don't do
And
a
that's
lot of
shade to your
bread
grandmama
to
too.
begin with.
To
Huh?
all the black grandmamas out there, that's shade to your grandmama.
Let me tell you, like I don't do a lot of bread, so we didn't do a whole lot of pastries. But the first Airbnb we stayed at, that there was one on the corner from our Airbnb, and it had won like the best like bread in Paris for like the last 4
Ooh.
years. So we lucked out like with the
Yeah.
prime spot. Bitch, that shit was so bad. I was like, oh,
Yeah, they know how to do bread.
I'm definitely gaining some weight. I'm definitely coming home bigger than I got here. And then we had
But you know
we
what?
had some of the South of France. Bitch, it was a wrap. It was a wrap.
But you know what? That food, even when you eat pastries and you drink a lot and you eat a lot, like when you're overseas, their food is different. It's made different. Like in the US, there is so much sugar that's baked into. There's sugar baked into our flour. Like, so when you're baking
Yeah.
your bread, and it already has sugar already in it. So like a European individual that comes to the US and eats the same diet here in the US, they gain 25 pounds every single time, eating the exact same thing because our food is made different. So like I always
Yeah.
go over there and I eat and drink and I eat and I drink and I eat and I drink and I come back and I'm like, not much different.
Still snatched.
Must be nice because that was not my motherfucking experience. Let me tell you, a bitch was eating.
Well,
A bitch was eating, and she was eating. But I will say this though: next time I go, bitch is bringing me a little thing of Tabasco. I'm bringing my little to-go salt and pepper because the lack of seasoning, honey,
Ooh, damn.
girl.
I need a little black love.
well, I don't know what kind of meals y'all were having, but I know when we all got together for dinner, the food did not need any additional seasoning.
Yes, yes, that place that we went to, that faux whatever people call it place, that was actually pretty good. But to be honest though, y'all was eating some spicy ass shit, so y'all had some seasoning up in it.
Right.
Okay, so it's already seasoned. But my point is though, when you go to regular French places, that was not a regular French place. That was an Asian cuisine place in France, right? There's a difference. If you go to a regular French restaurant and they send you like something with some chicken on it, that shit don't have no seasoning on it.
That is true. I
No,
do remember
well,
there were a couple places where
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Can I get the salt shaker?
Yeah.
I do remember that. That is true.
Yeah.
That
I
is
will
Yeah.
say that I have not been to those kind of places.
Well, they exist.
They there.
They there. And most of it's that way. Most of it's
They are
that way.
there. I'm like, I'm paying how much for this?
Look.
That is true. That is a bad
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm super happy you guys enjoyed yourself. I genuinely am. I was looking at all everybody's Instagram. I was like, oh, y'all having a good ass time over there. I'm like, damn.
It was a good time. And we also talked about it too when we did dinner. We need to do a siblings episode.
We absolutely do.
We need to do a siblings episode.
Bring the sisters on.
And get out. Yeah, bring the sisters on.
That'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. I'm down for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm down for that.
So
Cool. Well, and one last question: how was jet lag for you, Jarrell? Because especially coming from Seattle to over there.
honestly, it's been all right. I've been
Okay.
going to bed at my regular time, waking up at my regular time, waking up a little bit earlier, which is even
Yeah.
better because it's
Okay.
easier to go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning now. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been great. You know, sleep is my superpower, girl. She can sleep whenever, wherever she
Whenever,
But-
wherever, whatever.
girl,
Come
wherever
on,
she wants
Maxwell.
to.
Oh, that's right. I know that's right.
Yeah.
But and then I mean, I guess it didn't stop for Dewan. Dewan came back, and then we was partying up in New York. But no, before that, he went and saw Grace Jones right after Beyonce. Shit. Hold on, let's talk about Grace right quick. Like, how was that?
Let me just say that in contrast, Grace Jones was low production value, meaning like didn't have all the glitz and the glam and whatnot. She had like a handful of live musicians on stage. She had a couple of backup singers, and it was her. Bitch turned at 70,000 Methuselah years old.
I think.
Turned it out. Not probably. It is one of my top 5 favorite concerts of all time.
Okay.
Top
Yeah.
5.
Come on, Grace.
It was such a throwback to like Studio 54, old New York, like dungeon, like underground, going to the Roxy, having like a couple of slam bands come out and play, and then Madonna showing up. And like it was so like
Yeah.
the crowd was so
All
like
of New York was
eclectic
in
and
that bitch.
all of New, honey. So it was at the Hammerstein Ballroom, which is on 34th Street, which has the super long like sidewalks or whatever.
Yeah.
They were out the door, down the street, around the corner, down the street, and up a block to get in. They
That's
lined
wild.
up and showed out. And she didn't get she was late by about like 2 hours. She was supposed to start at
Girl.
She was supposed to start at 7 o'clock. I'm sorry. No, I lied. She's like an hour and a half. So she was supposed to start at 8. She didn't start until like 9:40 or whatever. And the crowd was getting antsy. It was like giving me throwbacks to like Lauryn Hill days. Like, oh, are we gonna be here until midnight before the bitch show up? Honey, the lights went down. They were screaming "Strange, Strange, Strange." The lights went down. The curtains fell from the ceiling, and this goddess was on this scaffolding that was like 30 feet in the air at the top of the scaffolding, and it was all in like the Keith Haring kind of like white and black design or whatever, and she was singing "Slave to the Rhythm" from the top of this. Sent us all to the floor. Like, it was absolutely incredible. And then in between the songs, she's like telling stories and like cursing up a storm, but not like cursing like in a mean kind of way, but just this is her regular way of talking. And like, she's like, I'm about to get some dick tonight. I think I might get 3 dicks tonight. Like, I'm just like, this is the experience we're having. It was really incredible. It was really, really, really incredible. Everybody was singing and dancing. Whoopi Goldberg was there, like literally like right there. She was like in the balcony. It was just phenomenal.
I saw like a lot of people that I knew in New York saw their Instagrams, and everybody was just living. Like, because like Dewan was like sending me like clips throughout the night. And then literally the next day, just all Instagram was just Grace Jones. At least the New York people. It was like everyone was like fucking Grace
She
Jones.
turned it
Like,
out.
oh, come on, Grace.
Oh man, we were like begging for more, and she doesn't have a big catalog. She doesn't.
No,
she even said it. She's like, there was a time when I only had a set of 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
She has slaves to the rhythm. Pull up.
Right. So, but like what she did with the time, there was a moment. I have a video of this. There was a moment where I forget exactly what song she was singing, but she was off to one side of the stage and the entire stage was black, and there was a faint spotlight that was on her, and she was wearing like this big like architectural hat and like this cloak, and she was singing into the light, and they had like smoke billowing underneath her, and then there was like a fan that was blowing her cloak behind her, so all you saw was like the silhouette of her singing in profile into like the space or whatever. And it was so like surreal and cerebral and artistic and interesting, and like it was fun. It was everything that I wanted and everything that I didn't even know that I wanted.
Yeah. Now that's a review.
Right.
Especially
that is a review.
Coming from Auntie Dionne Warwick over here.
Honey,
that's a word.
I would if I knew that she was if I knew that she had another performance the very next night, I would have bought another ticket. It was that damn good.
Oh wow. Okay. Because Dewan don't say that for everybody.
No. And you notice I didn't add a little shady moment at the end of it, because usually
you so did. He meant that shit.
Yeah.
Because normally if he didn't, he'd be like, I would have bought it the next day, maybe for a discount or something, just in case I found the ticket on the ground.
If someone was giving a ticket away for free, and
right,
I have to spend my money, then maybe I would go again.
I would go if you paid me. No, I'm just playing.
Right.
No, it was that good. And then we got to get together.
We got to get together in New York, which is always just cool now living in Philly. Just be like, okay, I'll be up there in 2 hours, and got to meet up like with another friend, because Dewan and his crew, we were at brunch, so I got to meet up with another friend that I have there, and they had a happy hour, buy one get one. So I started with doubles. And I should have known that was going to be what the day was going to turn into. Because,
honey, let me tell you, when I said this earlier, but when I saw the Minority Report Instagram story, I started laughing so hard, and I turned to Fizz, and I said, "Look at our girl," and he was like, "Oh, she having a good time."
Good.
I was like, "Bitch."
Good. Feeling good. The juice was flowing. Because the original plan was like brunch and then eventually go back to Dewan's, change
Right.
up and everything, and then go back out. And so by the time I met up with them, it was
Like go
already
out at the nighttime, like
right, go out,
go
right.
out, like
It
bars
was
out.
maybe like 5 o'clock down in like it wasn't even where were we? Christopher Street area.
Yeah, we were in the West Village.
And so I meet up with them, and I could tell Dewan was already feeling good. So I was like, oh, it's just going to be one of them fucking nights. It is what it is. And so we're just drinking. Go out to dinner with Landon, but up Landon, like, happy 40th birthday with Landon. And then we got to meet up with the Gayish guys because the next day they were having their live podcast.
Yep.
So what up, Gayish? And actually, it's funny. Mike just texted me during this recording. He's like, oh, how was the rest of the weekend? So I'll get back to you, boo. And so just turn up with them as well. And they're taller than I thought they were. I will say that. They're both
I was
taller.
surprised
Like, I
about that
knew
too.
Kyle was tall because he just says how tall he is. But Mike is taller than I thought too.
Mike is
I was
tall
like,
too, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just kept the drinks going. But then Dewan and Adam were like, well, more obstacles. Adam was ready to go. And Dewan, being a great boyfriend, was like, you know what? I'm going to take you home. He's like, that's my partner. He want to go home. Bitch, it's time to go home. But I was like, I ain't ready to go home. So it's just me, Kyle, and Mike.
Let me just clarify. We started out at brunch at 12 o'clock, and we had 3 bottles of champagne at brunch. Then we went from the brunch spot, which was La Boucherie, not Petite Boucherie, where we all met up, me, you, and Corian, but the big Boucherie. And then we walked around the corner to the Monster, and it was kind of empty or whatever. And we went there and we were just kind of hanging out because my best friend and his partner had a friend that works there that is going to be in Brazil for this wedding that we're all going to in the latter part of the summer. So he was like, oh, well, let's go over here because, he works there and we can just go and hang out and get some drinks and then go back home. We got there, friend wasn't there. So we just sat there and started having drinks. So by the time Carell had showed up, I had 3 gin and tonics in me. Now, mind you, we didn't kill 3 bottles of champagne already. We had 3 gin and tonics. And while Carell was there, I had probably 2 or 3 more gin and tonics. And we're not talking about like small, we're talking about like there were doubles. And then we meet up with Landon. We get in an Uber to meet up with Landon to go to this spot that Landon and I tried to go to, but Landon was late getting to my place. So we ended up missing our reservation by literally 3 minutes, and they gave our table away. I was heated about that. So he was like, well, let's go back to that spot. I was like, what spot? And he goes, oh, the spot that we went to, we tried to go to the last time. Oh, the spot that you made an appointment for? It is cute.
Super cute.
We got there, and I had I had 2 more gin and tonics. I had two because they were trying to kick us out. Like
it was.
It was a scene though. It was a New York scene. It was very much a New York scene.
And the straight men's is in that place are cute.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It's
cakes and everything. I was like, well, y'all got these cakes from these straight men's.
Yep.
So that was the place where you saw me doing whatever I was doing down the steps. And shout out to Smithy, he said 1 star. Whatever, boo. Vulcan ain't my ministry. I was just doing a little something. But then, so we finally met up with the Gayish guys. It was maybe, I don't even know what time, 10:30, 11.
I want to say 10.
No, I lost a sense of time.
Yeah, I want to say 10:30. Yeah, 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock. Yeah, because I didn't get home until 12:30.
Okay, so Adam had the right idea. I should have went home. That's what I should have did. So stayed out with them. Then Kyle drops out, and Mike goes, "Well, I still kind of want to go out." I was like, okay, next bar. So we ended up going down the street to 9th Avenue Saloon and just sat up there, ponied up at the bar, started drinking some more, just chatting and whatever. And then like there was this guy that was next to us that was like an old gay porn star, like was chatting us up. Wasn't that cute? But it was just funny. So it was like a random just New York night, and it was awesome. Didn't get back to Dewan's till like 4:30, and then the next day is Philly Pride. So literally had to wake up. I set my alarm for like 9:30. Hopefully I would wake up before that. Nope, the alarm went off at 9:30.
Girl, she
And I
was
wake
on
up and I'm just
logs
like
that morning.
hurting.
I was sitting in the kitchen.
And so
I was sitting in the kitchen working because I had woken up at like maybe 7 in the morning, whatever. And then like I was like, oh, well, I got some work that I need to do. So I'm just gonna, bang this out. Sawing them logs in here. And it's like, oh, okay, well, he's sleeping good. He must have went out and had a good time.
out. And so wake up 9:30, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get back to Philly because like we were supposed to make the 111 train to get into the city. Originally it was supposed to be noon, but then they moved it. I was like, thank God. So get up, and I'm like, oh God, I'm not even gonna shower and do nothing here. I'm just gonna go home, shower, and go. So I get my stuff, and I'm like, bye. And I was like, bye. I'm like, thanks for the hospitality. See ya. But then he slowed me down because then he brought out his box of doll clothing. And by box, literally that box is filled to the brim, Jarrell, with Mary J. Blige boots, pocketbooks, sweaters, graphic tees. This bitch has so much clothing for this damn doll. And I saw the new body too. I'm like, oh my God, Dewan, you are out of control.
Out of control.
Like out of control. And it's not like a shoebox. It's like a sweater box.
Look, if they were ever to do a remake of Life Size, it needs to be based off of Dewan's Barbie.
1000%. Tyra, call us. Because out of control.
Well, I couldn't let him leave without like, because ordinarily we would have spent some time at our place, maybe gone to the rooftop and hung out and whatever, and we would have been kikied and whatnot. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, you're here and we've been talking about it a little bit on the podcast, so I might as well at least show you that I'm not making this shit up. Like, I have a problem. Like,
I wasn't ready.
He saw the Mary J.
Blige
boots with the fuchsia the fuchsia boots with the fringe. They're hot. I'm sorry. They are
fire though. They are fire though.
We are not saying these Barbie doll boots are fire.
They are fire.
You don't understand. You don't understand.
They are fire.
There is a difference between doll clothes and fashion doll clothes. And honey.
And he gave me that lesson too. He's like, oh, see over here, these are just regular doll clothing, darling. And he said, you see the rest, right?
And you can see the difference in quality of what you're getting for clothes and accessories that you play with versus looks.
It's true.
She's gonna be ready. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Sure. But yeah, so the weekend just turned into crazy. It was crazy. Pride knocked me out. But it's interesting about even Pride this year. There's a different energy. And it's good and it's bad though because of the energy. Just because people are hyper aware right now of what's going on in the landscape, which is a good thing.
The political
which
stuff
hopefully brings people out to vote. Hopefully keeps us speaking up and out and everything and fighting for what we need as a community. But at least for me, the feeling in Philly, it just seemed like there was more people out than normal Philly Pride. And maybe it's just because last year was like still kind of COVID-y and things like that. The energy is different. So it's just going to be interesting to see if the rest of the month is that energy across the country in different cities. But I'm like, good. And we just need this energy going into the primary season and on the voting season and things like that. So we'll talk about all that shit later in a year. But it's necessary. It's necessary to be out and vocal and seen during this Pride season because they really trying it. They really trying it. So, and that's across the globe too, because like even Uganda, like I know, has been in the headlines, and
Mhm.
the anti-gay laws that they just passed, and actually it says that Uganda has passed one of the world's toughest anti-gay laws, which is crazy because there's a lot of them out there
There's a lot.
to be called one of the toughest, and it's calls for life imprisonment for anyone convicted of homosexuality.
Oh my
And he
God.
did
Yeah.
this last week, and he said same-sex relations were already illegal in Uganda,
Mhm.
but the new laws levies harsher penalties for the LGBTQ people, calls for death penalty for aggravated, golly, Carell, homosexuality, which is defined as same-sex relations involving HIV positive people, children, or other vulnerable people. Anyone convicted of attempted aggravated homosexuality can be imprisoned for up to 14 years. Ugandans who engage in gay sex can receive life in prison, while anyone who attempts to have same-sex relations can face 10 years in prison.
Mhm.
So we need this energy to be different because
Mm.
it's crazy around here. Not just at home, across the globe. And we got to continue to fight for our rights, honestly. So
No, I mean, honestly, like a friend of mine who was also at the Beyonce concert in Paris, they went to Australia because they had lived there for a couple of years and they were going to visit some friends from when they lived out there. And he was saying that when they were flying back to the States, he was showing some people in the airport like videos and photos of the Beyonce concert. And this white American man came up and was like, "You understand what that concert is doing to America and how it's like, has this this homosexual agenda and how drag queens are like, after kids and stuff like this." Was like spewing this to random people at an airport in Australia. Like this hate, y'all, I kid you not, like it's
It's a
not
virus.
a
It spreads.
it really is. It is everywhere around this globe, y'all. It's and to Carell's point, we really have to be vigilant and we got to be voting. We have to be out there in these streets because people think, oh, it's just happening in Tennessee and it's just happening in Texas and it's just happening in Florida. No, baby. Hear us when we say this is a worldwide issue. This is not just those 3 states. This is something that's happening at the entire country and the entire globe, y'all. So we have to be speaking up. And for all of you who are listeners who are just even allies, we need y'all even more. Like
yeah,
you all gotta show up and not just show up just by voting, but also challenging those who are around you who aren't part of the community and teach them how to be allies and help show them the way because they will listen to y'all before they listen to us. We already on the do not disturb list, okay? So y'all got the direct call, okay? So have those conversations, y'all. Please.
multiple times. If they don't get it
Yeah,
the first time, try again, try again, try
absolutely.
again.
Absolutely.
Woo, woo. But yeah, and Duane talked me into going to New York Pride, so I guess I'll be at New York Pride.
Yep.
Want that
I got her
Did she
all.
$9,000
really
ticket.
have to
Girl,
talk you into it? How much did she have to say? That's the question.
She said you can stay here. Da 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 da. She found me lodging.
uh-huh.
So I was like, all right, let me go. I was like, go and send that link, girl. Let me go and pay this $9,000 ticket.
It was a lot. That was a whole lot. But
Yeah.
that party's gonna be fire.
So we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's Pride Month, and again, I love a kiki, but don't forget the messaging behind the kiki.
Mhm.
And that's way more important because we ain't gonna have no more kikis. They already had some people cancel some of the events in Pride, which is
We
wild. So
we
Yeah.
always hear this notion that like like history repeats itself, and I think
Mhm.
for a lot of
Yeah.
people, it's just like, oh, that's just something people say, but it really fucking does. Like
yeah,
when you see how rights of people, not just LGBTQIA individuals, but like women and others that are being rolled back or being put under fire, like the rise of like these like alt-right conservative whack jobs, like it is very very cyclical, and it's so infuriating because it's like you get to a point you feel like, okay, we can breathe, things is cool, we can focus on Kim and Kanye. Like,
Right,
bitch,
right.
we back to 1822.
It feel that way some days. It sure do.
Mhm.
It sure
Mhm.
do. So, and by the way, like we had a great. I don't know if we said this. It was cool to finally meet Michael Kyle. Like we started talking about all the other
Yes.
shit, all the
Yep.
drink and everything. It was great to meet them in person finally. Sweethearts. It sounds like their
They're
podcast
so
live
great.
show did well in New York, so check them out as well. They're going on their little world tour this summer as well. So I forget what the next stop. I think it's Seattle is the next stop for their Pride.
I think there's a
Like
stop
June
in between
24th,
there.
maybe.
Yeah, but I know they'll be here for Pride too.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
so
gonna see
make sure
them.
you support them as well. What else? I'm trying to look at. Oh, okay. I know we're hour 6 in. Quickly, did you see Drag Race? Are we caught up on Drag Race?
Mm-mm.
Okay, never mind.
I've been
'Cause there's
gone.
okay, I just caught up yesterday myself, but there's a big hoopla going on this last episode of what happened,
Oh,
and
not
we,
that face. She said, mm.
well, we'll save maybe the conversation for next week to give our
I'll catch
opinion
up.
on
I'll
that.
catch up. I'll catch up this weekend. Yeah, she's
So
gonna be in the
yeah,
house all weekend.
there we go. That right. She said, "I'll stay my little ass home now."
Look,
Did
honestly,
y'all?
it's not even just that though. It's just because it's Pride Month, everyone is just doing a lot, and I'm just, y'all know me. I'm always like the
Counter.
Grinch when it comes to Pride Month. I'm just like,
right.
Your counter.
She's like, wow.
now you wanna turn up. Like I'm loud like this all the time. Like like now I'm gonna move out the way so you
Yeah.
can have the mic. I'm being nice to give
Oh my girls
everybody
need
else a chance.
space.
But honestly, but just in general, like this month, I'm just not really looking forward to being it. I just don't have the energy to go through all of that again this year, and also with last year's experience and the shrooms and getting lost by a tree. I just don't want that energy again this year. So I'm just like, I think I lived 2 prides and 1 pride last year. So I think I might have to skip a year to
recalibrate.
Literally, for real.
She said, "I gotta
real.
get my chakras in alignment before I tackle this
Honey.
again."
Girl, I walk past that tree and I'd be looking at it, I'd be like, "Ooh, girl, we were too close."
The struggle.
Like,
Struggle is real. And I guess before we get out here, Dewan, maybe, and I know you might be a nerd in this regard. Did you see the Apple WWDC?
I sure did.
bitch, not them $4,000
The Vision
fucking
Pros.
the Vision Pros.
I
was watching the
them
video.
now.
I was like, honestly, I was watching it, right? I was like, "Ooh, this is kind of cute." I was like, I kind of want to try that out.
Right.
And then at the end of the video, but what might scare you away is that it's $3,995. I said, bitch, just say $4,000 motherfucking dollars because you got taxes on top of that, bitch. Just say
That's how Apple be
it's gonna
doing.
cost you.
But can you imagine the porn and that shit? That's what I kept thinking the whole time. I was like, the porn.
I did too. That's why I said I want to try.
Vision Pro, all right, shit.
I mean, there are. I don't have any. I haven't experienced this, but shout out to Rashad. He was like, "Yeah, they have VR porn." I might have to try and find some. I got my little VR set sitting right over there. I'm like, oh, I wonder how that is.
You know how the Vision Pro got the eyes on the front of it.
Yeah,
You just gonna see people like, oh. And then it's just a mess all on the glasses.
Oh my god.
It did though. Like for people who haven't watched it, I encourage you to go out and watch it because it's really compelling and it's really fascinating. Like the fact that we are literally living in like what people thought science fiction was going to be, like it's damn near 2030. And what people thought 2030 was going to be, now we got flying cars. I mean, not everybody got them, but like they exist. You know, we got flying cars. We don't have teleportation machines, but we've got like, you know, this virtual reality, augmented reality, kind of like, it felt very Black Mirror-ish to me. Like,
1,000%.
the red flags,
especially that one episode when they have like
with the eyes,
little
where you can roll back.
Yes,
Yep.
eyes.
Yep.
Yes, that was the gay episode. That was like the only one I watched.
Where there were avatars fucking.
Yep.
Catfish.
Yeah.
Seriously. It's
But yeah,
wild. It is wild.
I don't think that I'll be purchasing this. I mean, unless I like hit the lottery and I just got tons of disposable cash or whatever. But like,
Right.
but once this kind of technology, first of all, kudos to Apple because this is the first real step in innovation and advancing technology
Yeah.
forward that they've had since the iPhone. Period.
I agree with that
So I
statement.
think that's dope. But it's going to take a little bit of time for you to have other options out there to bring the cost down and all that kind of stuff, or
And the
for
apps aren't going to be there quite yet,
Mhm.
and
and it's not going to be
when it comes to
available
like
until next year, right?
yeah, because which is smart because it now gives developers because that's what WWDC is, the developers conference. And so now it gives them like call it 6-7 months to be like, okay,
Mhm.
what do we even envision this to be? And it's honestly going to be that first generation that kind of steers what it even is going to be in 2, 3, 4, 10 years. So similar to almost like how the Apple Watch, that first generation, it's like okay, it's cool, but then over time you kind of see where it's more like a health thing.
Mhm.
It'll be interesting to see where this steers to that we can't even envision right now
Oh,
that
this
because it's
is
just literally the first generation of it.
so right now. Elon Musk got FDA approval to test computer chip implants in human brains.
Yeah. I saw
So
that.
when you
Yeah.
marry AI technology, augmented reality through certain kinds of lenses with some kind of a computer chip, like literally this is Black Mirror stuff. Like literally there will be
It
like
is.
little like contacts that you put in your eyes that are basically your computer instead of having the whole, thing. Because I
Mhm.
imagine 50 years from now, maybe even 20 years from now, we're going to be looking back like, that's what
Oh,
that
y'all wear
vision
that
looked
big
like.
ass thing?
You want that on your
Right,
face?
Oh,
right,
your
Like
face? Ugh.
right. You
1000%.
can
White
get
Yeah.
refrigerator. Ugh.
But I mean, but we're literally right there to your point though, like we're right there, like you see in the movies where they're like do 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 and they're
That's
just
it.
using the screen. So like
Yes,
we're
it's
right there
right
where
there.
you're just gonna be clicking at things in the thin air,
You just go like
moving the
this.
monitors,
What I
filling
loved,
everything.
Blink
what I
your
loved is when they
eyeballs.
did the immersive environment, when they showed the immersive environment. So like when you put the
Mm-hmm.
things on and they showed like the mountains of Montana or something like that. Literally, you could be living in a shoebox in New York City, but you can have these VR things and have like a completely immersive experience that takes you outside of like what your real life like. This is
1 month's rent in New York or the immersive experience. Like shit, I can't afford them bitches.
They got a layaway plan?
Honey,
honey.
you gonna go next door and steal them bitches from the rich neighbor.
But I do
Bitch,
love
let me find out.
I do love
Right.
that the idea that when you go in, when you put the things on and you have the screens, that you can make the screens as big as you want them to be and you can space
Yeah.
them out. So like for all the people that have like really large televisions or who don't and want like a much more immersive, like, yeah, the cost is cost prohibitive right now, but like I can only imagine what something like this is going to do to like the television industry.
I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking the same thing. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, ooh.
Sony, y'all better create your own because
The only thing that might be prohibitive is like say you have friends over for movie night. Everyone needs to have that gadget. And I don't
right.
know I don't know at least in the next 5 years how
Get new
realistic that might
friends.
be. 20 years potentially for sure. Would you say, Gerard?
I said get new friends, bitch.
But do you used to hang out?
I'm
Bitch, yeah,
rich,
had to be them
Yeah,
bitch.
hoes.
she had the Rich Bros.
Yeah, got rid of them hoes. Right, I'm rich, bitch. I know that's right. Rich, man. I'm so done. The one thing that was super cool to me too, because I wear glasses, and I was like, "Bitch, I don't want to put them on my glasses." And they're like, "Nope, we got lenses that you could get to put into the thing." I was like, "Oh my god, with your prescription?" I was like, "Shit,
Yeah.
they're thinking of everything. That's the way to do it,
Which is actually really smart.
It's
right?"
wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought
Yeah,
my
that
regular
was a
VR set was.
WWDC.
Oh,
The
I'm
only,
I'm kind
the
of
only
mad
other
that
thing that
SNL.
I
Hold on,
did
real quick.
love to go ahead.
I'm kind of mad that SNL is not in season right now because when you watch the whole thing, to see them scurrying on and off the screen was the funniest thing to me. Like they would be talking, and then you say, "I'm gonna give it over to Carell."
Right. And they love Craig. Craig, the one with the
hair,
the foof of a hair.
Yep.
They love how silly he is. Like he's like has his like own like cult following.
Yep.
And he'd be having like his shirt all little button and everything. I'm like, go ahead, you little silver fox.
Right.
And I like the other thing I like is they're finally going to fix the ducking problem of
that was cute. That was cute. Yeah,
I was like, that was a cute moment because
I
I was
do
like,
like-
if I fucking one more time and give me a duck, I'm losing my shit.
and for real, like this is not like an unknown thing. I do like a lot of
That
the I like a lot of the enhancements that they're doing with like the iPhone in terms of the iOS, you know, so like some of the
I
like the
agree.
stickers, I thought that was kind of cool and different. I mean, nothing that was like
You ever
truly
use the
like,
stickers though?
oh, I don't use them, but I think
Me either.
now I like the fact that you can turn pictures, your own pictures into or GIFs into the stickers, because I think then think about all the pictures you got of your friends.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah, you make your own. Oh, that's true. That is true. It'll be the memes of your friend group. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I feel like iOS 17 was definitely a refinement, which it needed to be, because 16 was kind of a little, it was good, but it was a little off, a little buggy.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
definitely
knew
buggy.
Vision Pro was going to be the star. So they're like, okay, we got at least a year to refine it. We're good. Thank you. Because we ain't got no new ideas for the iOS, really.
No, not
The
at
journal
all.
app, I was like, no, I ain't going to be journaling. I'm good.
Yeah, that whole thing, I was just like, who does this? Like,
Right, I was like, you can keep it. It seemed very like blog 2009.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. But yeah, the refinement and stuff like that of just like even the keyboard shit was like, okay, that's what I need. So, but all right, well, community, this was just a catch up episode for us. We needed to hear everything because we be holding these conversations. I saw Dewan for a whole last day, and I was like, no, I don't want to talk about
that. Bitch, that's why we kept on drinking, because we have nothing to talk about. We're like, save it for the podcast. Give it to the community.
Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about Amsterdam. I want to hear Beyonce. But if you have any Ask Your Aunties questions, continue to send them in, aya@minorityReport.com, or DM us. We need some new ones, so send those in so we can do that. The next episode. Anything else on your hearts and minds?
No, that's
Treat
it.
yourself to some merch.
It's just
I know
so good to see y'all.
It's summer. It's summer. We got some beach towels out there, so go ahead and treat yourself and rep Minority Report wherever you going.
I know that's right.
I love that. That's right.
Subscribe if you haven't already, because I can see who people be watching shit and listening to shit, but you ain't subscribed. So subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. It don't take nothing but a second. So help us out, bitch. And that was a loving bitch.
Yes.
You're right.
But anyway, until next week, happy Pride Month, and wash your
Yes.
hands, wash your legs, wash your ass.
Mwah.
See you next
Love y'all.
Bye, y'all.